Why people only care about looks. Alright, this is something I believe everyone has a decent amount of experience on. Clearly, there is some reasoning to why people care about looks so much. As a young age group that we are, teenagers to young adults, we are heavily visually stimulated simply because of behavior neuroscience. Behavioral neuroscience is the study of humans and how our interactions, our responses, our thoughts, our behavior, our mental processes, everything we do and everything we say, every emotional response we have has developed from mammals. And the reasoning behind this is because we have developed from mammals. Okay, I'm not going to get into this whole religion verse development that we came from frogs or whatever. I'm not going to talk about evolution, but I'm simply working off of the scientific, factual, intellectual proof behind this, and I'm going to go ahead and dig deep right into the subject. Alright, first up is males. Males and sex. I'm sure you have heard of testosterone and estrogen before. Testosterone is the primal chemical that is found in males, and estrogen is the chemical that is found in females. Generally speaking, obviously males will generally have more testosterone and females will generally have more estrogen. This does not mean that a male cannot have a lot of estrogen or a female cannot have a lot of testosterone, but that is a completely different subject. That's not something I want to discuss in this. Anyways, males, the pride lords, the alpha human of the group, leaders of the packs, they are built to be strong, very muscular builds with deep, intimidating voices, their wide chests and logical thinking of bony and prominent faces. This is what society describes a typical male. The very tall guy, the very buff, the very muscular. That is what females have been led to be attracted to. There's a reason for this, but I'll discuss this later. As for males, we were designed in evolution to do and really want one thing. Our drive is to have our blood live on. We want our genes to live on long after we are dead. And in order for the highest chance of our blood to move on, back in the day, this meant that we needed to spread our goods around. And this meant that in order for the max chance of our blood to flourish, we needed to attract the most amount of females and inevitably get it on with them. In order to attract the most females, you would have to be the biggest man, the big alpha guy, the most testosterone, booming voice, and the tallest dude, the biggest muscles, and they are often called the alpha male. Now, males would purposely choose the more physically attractive female to get on with. This is because the more symmetrical your face is, and the more proportional your body is, this displays that your genes have been the least genetically modified and have endured generations without a lot of mutation, which thus is a sign of health. In females, the more proportion their faces, the bigger eyes they have, and the more hips and curves they have, and that's all signs of healthy genes. That is what a male is subconsciously attracted to, and that is a result of estrogen. Now, as unfortunate as this to say, this does not mean that females without the big curves and the big tits and the big eyes and all that glamour and stuff, that does not mean that you are not attractive. I'm making this clear that this is simply the subconscious tug on a male's brain is to be attracted to that. Unfortunate. Now, the reason that males are attracted to a lot of estrogen is because estrogen forms the curves in the female body. And why this is important to have a lot of estrogen in the female is that because let's put it in this matter, that the more estrogen you have, the more waist to hip ratio you'll have, which forms that hourglass kind of shape. And the reason males are attracted to estrogen is because they have more hip to waist ratio. And the larger hip to waist ratio you have means that that the female is able to deliver the baby with more efficiency. They have more room for the baby to exit and get out there. I'm not going to go too much more into the subject, though, because this is completely off topic, but that's just the reasoning why that, yeah. But anyways, on to females. Let's see. The reason a fair amount of females are attracted to this alpha male is, for one thing, testosterone. The bold man of steel, the big truck riding, beer drinking, manly man who doesn't give a damn in the world. This is the alpha male, the perfect, tall, muscular, big guy. They are the alpha male. They are into solving complex puzzles. They are generally good with their hands. They're very into technical things. They're able to figure out complex mechanical processes, and they use a lot of logic in their thoughts, a lot more than they use emotions. This will, I don't want to talk about this too much either, but that can be why they come off as assholes generally, because they're not as emotionally prone to yada yada. But with more testosterone creates larger muscles and a bigger and wider body structure, which allows for more area and space for muscle to develop onto. Muscle indicates health to a female. A female is subconsciously attracted to muscle because it indicates health. The bigger a man is, the more a female the more safe a female may feel. With large size comes physical power, which back in the day could mean the difference between life or death in a fight versus a wild animal or simply any human enemy. Since females are much like males in the sense that they want healthy offspring and they want their blood to live on as well, they would prefer getting it on with the top pack out, the top alpha male of the pack. This meant that their top-tier sperm with the female's delicate egg would create the highest chance of healthy offspring. And on a less neurochemical level and a more of a dirt-to-dirt, why would a girl pick that guy, you know? The alpha male didn't get there for no reason. He's obviously a hardcore motherfucker, or whatever you want to call it. But all this information, it leads back to why we subconsciously are heavily physically stimulated at this age. We are in baby making mode. We are built right now to reproduce. We're attracted to these physical attributes because they meant the difference between having a higher chance of having a healthy offspring or not. And obviously you're going to want the higher chance. I want to just reevaluate that there is absolutely nothing wrong with us being physically stimulated. It may feel like people who may be on more intellectual side instead of being the 10 out of 10 model, they may feel they're being cheated out right now because they're not attracting as many people as that alpha male or the alpha female are, simply because they didn't win the genetic lottery of being born with the big muscles and whatever you want. It's played a part in ensuring the human race would continue on. And it's all leads back to animalistic behavior where we're physically stimulated because we want the alpha male or the alpha female to be the person we reproduce with for the highest chance of our blood to move on. Now, all of the subconscious pull from our minds starts to fade at approximately age 24 to 26. This is subsequently the age our brain reaches its full cognitive development, which allows us to have a more refined thought process. Instead of really looking at the physical aspect of people, we start to look more towards our future, to settling down, to developing our financial state, obviously, nowadays, and all that jazz. And this is why people aged 12 to 25 may appear to only care about looks. I assure you, we both can name a few people who probably don't spend enough time talking to someone before getting it on with them, and you can't blame them. It's just basic behavior neuroscience.